Racing fans, welcome back to Champion Horse Racing. It's been 2 weeks, way too long. I definitely have wanted to play this game sooner, but I've just been obviously busy, sidetracked, all of that stuff. Anyways, we're gonna get right into it today. I want to actually get more racing done. I feel like I haven't been as good of that as I usually like to be. So, anyways, I think we only have 2 horses back here, which is cool, and we have a bunch that we could move over. But right now, I'm just sticking with 2, just to see how these guys do. And depending on how well they do or how well they don't do, or how they, you guys know what I'm saying, like then we'll adjust and move more horses in. So Ideoshi Preston, this colt we ran last time out, I think he finished relatively well. I don't think he won. No, he did win. He won a grade 2, I forgot. Yeah, first time out, grade 2. So he's looking good. We'll get him into a race here very soon. And Super 1, 2-year-old colt stablemate right next to him. I'll show you their Super 1. And Super 1 developing. Obviously both of these guys are. They just are fresh. And they have standard growth types, which means we'll be able to race them until they're probably about, close to 5 years old is when they will probably be closer to their peak, or at least maybe on the slight decline from their peak. So they should be near the mountain top, and that's what's important for obviously extracting the most that you can. All right, so this guy's a sprinter, and his stablemate likes to run a little bit longer at 8 furlongs to 12 furlongs, I think. Am I doing that conversion right in my head? I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is 8 to 12 furlongs, right? 16 to 2,000 meters. Anywho's, let's just go ahead and get into a race. So, Ideoshi Preston. Oh, yeah, I can't really throw my horse into a race when he's like not in the condition to race. We probably want to get that fatigue level down here in the upper right-hand corner. And actually, I'm going to feed him apple vinegar, and I'll go ahead and pay 10 coins because we have 3,800 of those. So I don't mind paying coins to do transactions with the apple vinegar because now he is completely rested. I guess we give him a wonder something. Just to drop that fatigue to 0, but it seems to do the trick, and he's back in good shape now. I just saw that something popped up that I'm supposed to be able to collect, but I don't know if it's here. It's really so wild that I lost my old account that I played on for years, but it's actually okay because starting now that I've been playing for a while, we can have a much better progression into getting actual really good horses for PvP multiplayer, which I really want to make a staple for this series. So Ideoshi, let's go ahead and look for a race, and we're just going to run him against the AI again. Still not in condition. What are they talking about? Oh, condition, duh. We need to train. I knew that. I totally knew that. I did. I just forgot it in the moment. So yeah, kind of, I'm not going to say I wasted the apple vinegar, actually, because his fatigue is still lower than it would have been if I didn't use it. So here's the training session here. Get that done. So 15%. He'll probably be able to race next week, but we'll see. And then Super 1. Have I raced with you yet? Obviously. And you did not. No races. Okay. What's your conditioning level? Because he might be ready. 85. No, he's not ready. It's really ideal for them to be as close to 100% for the condition as possible. That usually guarantees the best results. So we'll do a pair gallop. We're having them both essentially train the same way this week. They're both just going to be galloping with each other and just trying to obviously really get that fitness up and deep stretch. As you saw, the jockeys were really working them. So that's where we're trying to get them into the window of. That way they'll be ready to rock and roll come next month. So we'll go ahead and fast forward to March. And might want to do another training session with Ideoshi Preston. So actually Super 1 should be ready. Let's go ahead and drop his fatigue. We'll feed him an apple vinegar. Just to get that fatigue down to 0. And he's a little bit light, but hopefully it will not affect this race. So we're going to go ahead and here go to a regional race, and they'll put him in a grade 2, the Riesling Slipper Trial. Sounds like a children's like nursery rhyme storybook or something. I don't know. Interesting name, but it's got to be a name for a real graded stakes race, right? Because all of these races are based off of the real races, from my understanding. Super 1 will be up here in this grade 2, and I think we're looking to finish pretty well here, hopefully. You can't actually see your odds like you do in PvP multiplayer mode, but we'll see how our boy goes here. And we're off. So it is a good start here for Super 1. I think he's going to trail towards the back. Or is he going to settle in more towards the front? No, he's actually trying to run to catch the leaders here. So Super 1 is sitting here in 4th place on the outside of Grand Free. And I'm assuming that horse's name is longer, but because it's obviously shortened for the sake of the scroller at the bottom, you can only see that. But yeah, we have the... I don't even know what you would call my silk colors outside of just the HRG themed colors. But again, this is our sprinters, so pretty short. I think we were running like 5 or 6 furlongs. So into the stretch we come here. We're on the outside with Super 1. And he has a really good stride. Here comes Super 1, green cap, orange top, green sleeves. Always look for the bright green, the bright oranges. Super 1 is rolling here. He's looking really good. But whoa, look at that charge from the 6 horse from the back. Hopeful T's trying to rally to catch Super 1 at the end. It's going to be close, but Super 1 breaks his maiden and gets it done and wins a Grade 2. Both of the colts for HRG stables have Grade 2 wins under their name. Both breaking their maidens, winning Grade 2s nonetheless. That's a fantastic way to start. And again, even against the AI in this game, those are good wins because every good win like that boosts your horse's ratings and stats and attributes. So it's definitely something you want to do. Like I think sometimes someone may have the idea of just hopping straight into multiplayer and just trying to win those races with their horses all the time. And if you have a horse that's really capable of that, of course that makes sense. But I think with some of these horses sometimes, especially as you're developing them, like run them against lower competition at the Grade 2, Grade 3 levels. You'll still have tougher races, and sometimes if you just don't have a good horse, like they're not going to win it. So if your horses are winning these type of races, that's usually a good sign that this is a horse that will eventually be in the position to win a international Grade 1 race against other players in the world. So that is a big future type of thing you have to think about with these horses and when you get those wins. So you see we bump up from an 80 rating to 89. The top left of the screen where the pink rating bar is 9 points increase. Again, underweight, so I'll make sure I take care of that. And his gait ability improved as far as how he comes out of the gate. Cornering ability, how he handles the turns, which he handled that beautifully. That's why he seemed to launch like a rocket once we got into the stretch, right? If you paid attention to that. His temper as well. So this is why it's important to win these type of races, even if it is just against the AI, because it's really good experience for your horse, and like it's necessary. So that was 6 furlong sprint. Absolutely crushes it. Let's go, my boy. Fantastic win. Super happy about that. And actually, the nice thing about this new file is I think I'm actually like on the North American server, because again, I think when I first started playing this game, there was only like the international server, which was mainly just like most of the gamers from Asia or China, specifically. Like those were the main people on the game because that's just how they set it up initially. But now they've created a global server or a North American server, I believe, along those lines. So that should be interesting. As you can check out syndicates here. Like these are normal names. Remember on my old games, you guys can even go back probably half a dozen episodes ago on my old file when I was still playing this game. It may have been months ago. All these names are in symbols and characters I do not understand because it's not Western language. It's Eastern language. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing Suicide Squad, for any of my DC fans out there, Lone Ranger, racing, F3. You're seeing a lot of actually unique names that most of us can read, obviously, for those of us that don't speak Mandarin or anything along those lines, Viking. So it's just nice to actually just for me to see normal names because, that means even when we get into multiplayer, like, we'll actually be able to recognize these players and understand, something about who they are to an extent. Now, what we just got and received here from Ayane Sama is teaser fruit. And if you've been following me, remember, teaser fruits are what we use for breeding. It essentially gives your horse the ability to actually breed, whether it's the sire or the broodmare. It's extremely, extremely powerful. In fact, it's the best gift and equipment that you can receive for your horses for breeding. And you can buy it if you have enough resources. Like if you come to your supply, which is your backpack here in the bottom right of the menu, you come down to teaser fruit. As you can see, it's right here in a market essentially for you to buy. It costs 15 diamonds. I've spent all of mine already buying, I think, 5, which is great because that means I'll be able to do breeding right away with horses. Like I can do breeding technically now as soon as I get our horses to their maturity peak. So we still have a couple of years in game, but we can get that done. So fantastic race there for Super 1. Breaking his maiden. Can we do a swim? Will that give him weights? No. I'm trying to see if there's anything we can do. Might need to put him on a spell. Yeah, he needs to gain some weight. So we'll go ahead and put him on a 2-month spell after winning that grade 2. That way he can gain his weight back, and then we can really hit training hard again heading into the summer. So I think that's a perfect thing to do. So Super 1 looking good. 5 stars though. Remember, max I think star rating in this game is 6, maybe 7. I haven't seen any 7-star horses, but 6 stars for sure. I've had 2 or 3 of those. And this guy's a 5-star, so he's definitely up there. So looking forward to seeing more from him. Let's move on to Adiyoshi Preston. We should probably train you just a little bit. Yeah, let's get you up to 98%. Can we do something that's just not as intense on the fatigue side of things? I don't really need you burning yourself out, but we need to make sure you are conditioned well. I could get him up to 92%, but it feels like I'm doing him a disservice, and not justice if I do that. So yeah, we need to get that conditioning up. I'm just trying to worry about the fatigue, but you know what? We'll actually do a hill track gallop. We'll go ahead and work on that endurance. And to be honest with you, I used to run track and field back in high school, and we used to do hill workouts sometimes before we would have invitationals with other schools in the region. So I always felt like it made me more competitive. You know, you get used to running up an incline. Once you're on flat ground, you feel like you can fly. You know what I mean? So I think horses probably feel the same way. If they're used to training up an incline and training with, more resistance, once they get on the flatland, as long as they know how to keep their legs underneath them, like they can really go. I mean, it's just basic physiology of just how you're strengthening your muscles and just how your body's adjusting to working and operating at different resistance and elevation levels, and then you're dealing with gravity. Like it's actual science. It's no like, oh, I don't really like. It's pure science. That's just how it works. So I think doing hill track gallops like that are really good for a horse if you take advantage of them. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and feed this guy. We're gonna go ahead and do apple vinegar. I'll get them out of the way now because we need to kind of move the ball along here with these horses to really see what their maximum level will be. And we'll go ahead and toss him in another regional race. Remember, he's won a grade 2. Let's see, they'll put him in a grade 3 pre-Diana. We've raced in this a bunch of times, going 8 furlongs. And yeah, we'll see how he'll do here. As far as the jockey, we'll probably get John V from the US of A. I do have jockey invitational things, but I don't really like to use those when I'm doing regional races. I save those for multiplayer if I'm able to. So I want to save those for multiplayer because that does help. Like having a really good jockey that's hard to get in this game unless you have those invitationals. Yeah, it's extremely useful to have it saved and ready for a big grade 1 international race when you're competing against other players in the world. So that's just kind of my suggestions with that. If you ever run across getting those jockey invitational cards, save them for multiplayer races only. I would not use them in regional races unless you absolutely want to. And if you have a bunch of them, then sure. But if you have, maybe just a few, I would really hold on to those. It's kind of like a Uno reverse card, but not in that same way. But you know what I mean? Like it has the opportunity and the chance to change the outcome. It's kind of like that. It doesn't guarantee it, but it can change it. You hit the Uno reverse card, it doesn't mean you're going to win the game, but it means you can change the momentum, right? That's just kind of how that works. So anyways, I'm here for this grade 3. It's going to be a field of 8. field of 8. And not a very competitive field. 4 horses at the top, we should all be okay. The other 4 at the bottom don't seem to be too much of a threat. So I'm not really too concerned. We should be able to get this win here with Adiyoshi Preston. And he is trending upwards as far as his condition, so he comes in this race looking really good in the post parade. Champion March, the 2 horse as well, the 8 horse, and we'll go ahead and show you guys. So here's the 3 horse in the post parade. His condition is trending upwards, so it's the game telling us that he is looking good and feeling good. Here's the 2 horse, Champion March. Very nice. This horse is trending upwards as well, and will probably be our nearest rival and competitor. And then we'll go ahead and look at the 8 horse, who is also trending up, wearing the black mask, which is very cool. They're also trending upwards. So we appear to be potential 3 favorites in this race. And yeah, obviously we'll see how this goes. So yeah, let's rock and roll with Adiyoshi Preston. Let's see how he does here. And we're off and racing, and he gets out like a rocket. First out of the gates is Adiyoshi Preston, but he's not a leader. He will settle in, and I think he'll go ahead and just kind of trail and shadow the leader, who is now the 5 horse Cavalier, in the blue silks with the yellow and green top, yellow cap. So yeah, a beautiful horse Cavalier is out front with the white hood. I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a pretty cool look from afar. Cavalier as well. That's pretty neat. And this is an AI horse as well. So Adiyoshi Preston, we are stalking very nicely in 2nd place. I feel like we are going to open it up in this stretch and run it really well once we get there. But I like this stalking ground here with Adiyoshi Preston, keeping Cavalier right in sight, and there's several lengths behind to the rest of the field. I mean, they're separated probably by 4 or 5 at this point. Now we're going to move to the outside. John gets him going, and down the stretch we come with Adiyoshi Preston. Cavalier still fighting on the inside. It is a dogfight between these 2 horses. They are really going at it. Adiyoshi Preston, he is still trying to reel. Can he do it? Our boy is trying to get a neck and cross. Cavalier is still game on the inside, and it is going to be Adiyoshi Preston to poke ahead now. Cavalier still hanging there on the inside, not giving up. Will he have a second answer? No. Wow, what a grade 3. That's 2 bangers of races in a row. Oh, wow. And the other horses were closing, but I really wasn't worried about them. If the race was a little bit longer, sure, I just knew we had it just in time. And Adiyoshi Preston with John V on board, just getting the job done. 1:34.7 is the finishing time. And that's 2 for 2 for our guys. On a roll. Absolutely killing it. Navy Pearl finishes off the trifecta. Champion March, the 2 horse, finishes in 4th with the superfecta. So yeah, for the most part, the horses that were trending upwards, with the exception of the 8 horse Pretty Energy, who we looked at, the horses that were trending upwards in this race did finish in the top 4. So again, getting your horses to as close to 100% conditioning in this game as possible, it does give you the guaranteed best chance of winning a race. It doesn't guarantee you will, but it puts you in the best window for it. So that's a fantastic win there for Adiyoshi Preston. He jumps up to an 100 rating. He jumped 12 points. I usually, even in my old file, I didn't have races where my horses jumped 12 points, and this is against the AI. That's a big time grade 3 win, apparently, for this guy. Going 2 for 2. Horses at stable have completed all tasks. Yes. Fantastic win for Adiyoshi Preston. Yeah, 5-star horse. I mean, they're both, the same caliber of horses, so it's a very good chance they'll be kind of winning at the same rate. That's kind of what I would hope. That'd be awesome, because then we'll instantly have 2 multi-graded stakes winning sires that we can immediately use for breeding in the next 2 or 3 years. Like, we can start that fast. So all we need to obviously do is just get one of the fillies over, which I think will be considered a mare in this game. That's just how they word it. She's 2 years old. She's a filly, but the game says, mare. Trying to access the farm. And the game's saying I can't access my farm, which this will happen sometimes. I would say it's one of my only actual gripes about the game. And I'm assuming it's an update. I don't really keep up on the Facebook page that often, because I'm just not even on Facebook like that. But that's usually the case. It's interesting because I mean I'm just this is on my phone. My phone is always to everything. I'm even using it right now. That's interesting. It could be an update. Well, that's a bummer because I was going to try to show you guys the farm and to show you some of the 2-year-olds that we have for the boys and the gals, but it doesn't want to connect me to the farm. So yeah, that doesn't make sense, but it's okay. Anyways, that's 2 great races there, and yeah, it appears there may be an update or maybe something is kind of interfering with the game. This does just randomly happen, and it kind of kills my immersion, but hopefully it's just an update. I haven't played this game up until now, and it's been several weeks, and sometimes if there is an update, a game will still launch, but then my phone will just tell me, okay, there's an update to this game. You should probably, go ahead and get that. And even for some apps, like it's not automatic. I don't have it set up that way, so that could be the case here. But anyways, that will conclude it. That was pretty much where I was going to stop it. Wanted to get 2 of those races in with these guys just to see where they're at. And they're both looking good. So I really think next time around, we'll go ahead and do the same thing. Maybe try to get them in 2 races each. So that'll be 4 total. Because again, keeping 2 horses right now, I can run them more consistently back to back. So I think that's what we're going to focus on and do, because again, making them as great as possible will be fantastic for breeding, and we can automatically start our in-house breeding here with our own horses without having to rely on just obviously getting in-game horses. Like, we'll use them, that's the whole point, but not to the point of not using our own lines to create super horses. Essentially, like, that's always the best way to go. Like, get your own horses and the pedigrees going, and then that's when you can really take those unique attributes and traits from each really good horse that you've created yourself, and that's when you get the super horses that we all love to create across any horse racing game, I'm assuming, that we play once we get to that point. So yeah, really excited for that. Cannot wait. I'm really bummed about the farm, but I will get that